This audio is an educational summary and commentary based on the book Trump Strategies for Real Estate, Billionaire Lessons for the Small Investor, written by George H. Ross and Andrew James McLean. Applied in Winnipeg. It presents business and real estate principles discussed in the book. It is not a political statement and not an endorsement of any individual. The core idea of the book is simple. Success in real estate is driven not only by capital, but by mindset, deal structure, and strategic thinking. The first major theme is thinking at scale. The book describes a philosophy of thinking big. This does not mean acting recklessly. It means being willing to evaluate larger opportunities while remaining disciplined in analysis. Behind every large project must be detailed financial calculations, understanding of market conditions, careful negotiation of terms, clear risk evaluation. The lesson for smaller investors is not to imitate large projects blindly, but to adopt structured thinking. The focus should be on value creation and return on investment, rather than simply on price or size. Another key principle is leverage. Leverage includes financial leverage, such as loans, but also strategic leverage, partnerships, joint ventures, professional expertise, reputation networks. The book emphasizes that many large projects are structured using shared resources and negotiated agreements, rather than relying solely on personal capital. The third principle is brand and reputation. In competitive markets, credibility and recognition can increase perceived value. Even small investors can build a reputation for reliability, a track record of integrity, consistent communication, professional positioning. Reputation is presented as a long-term strategic asset. The second part of the book focuses on how deals are structured. One recurring idea is acquiring undervalued or distressed properties. These may include properties requiring renovation assets with legal or financial complications, properties affected by market downturns. The principle is that value is often created at the moment of purchase. A carefully negotiated entry price can significantly influence long-term profitability. Negotiation is another central theme. The book outlines several negotiation principles. Be prepared to walk away. Understand the motivations of the other party. Control timing when possible. Avoid emotional attachment to a single outcome. Maintain alternatives. The emphasis is on preparation, clarity, and disciplined communication rather than confrontation. Another important concept is control versus ownership. The book explains that in some cases, it may be more strategic to hold partial ownership structure, revenue sharing agreements, manage assets, license branding. This approach allows participation in upside potential without assuming full financial exposure. The discussion of risk is practical. Market downturns are described as periods of both danger and opportunity. However, the book stresses that acting during crises requires liquidity, reserves emotional discipline, structured planning, realistic exit strategies. Debt is described as a financial instrument. It can support growth when supported by cash flow and risk planning. It becomes dangerous when used without contingency planning or revenue support. The overall message is not to avoid risk entirely, but to measure and structure it carefully. The final section focuses on income stability and long-term growth. The book highlights the importance of cash flow. Short-term resale profits can be beneficial, but long-term stability often depends on rental income, diversified holdings, recurring revenue streams. Value creation strategies discussed include repositioning a property, improving presentation and design, changing usage, or target audience enhancing branding and perception. Operational improvements. These actions can increase both income and resale value. The book concludes with 10 broad strategic principles. 1. Think strategically and at scale. 2. Purchase with disciplined analysis. 3. Use leverage responsibly. 4. Create value rather than waiting for appreciation. 5. Negotiate with preparation and flexibility. 6. Always define an exit strategy. 7. Prepare for market cycles. 8. Build long-term credibility. 9. Develop strong professional networks. 10. Avoid poor calculations more than you avoid large opportunities. The overarching message is that real estate investing is not only about ownership, it is about structure, positioning, negotiation, and strategic risk management. This summary is provided for educational purposes and reflects the concepts discussed in the book. Readers and listeners are encouraged to study original sources and seek professional advice before making investment decisions. What would this look like in the context of Winnipeg? Winnipeg is not a one-strategy market. Buy and hold works. House hacking works. Strategic renovations work. Careful flips work. Even long-term land plays can work. The real question is not which strategy is best. The real question is, do you understand the numbers, the neighborhood, and your own risk tolerance? In this city, success does not come from hype. It comes from preparation. When you run the math, study the area, and surround yourself with the right advice, a strong mortgage broker, a careful inspector, a solid lawyer, and a thoughtful realtor, strategy stops being a gamble and becomes a plan. And often, the strongest results come from combining approaches. Live in a property first, then rent it, renovate in stages, refinance and reposition. Winnipeg rewards patience. Winnipeg rewards clarity. You do not need to be fearless. You need to be informed, take the step wisely, make it intentional. Good luck.